Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. Sandy Berger is here with us for both hours. Consumer electronics expert, back fresh from CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. She was out there with Ben, and she's got lots of stuff to talk to us about on today's program. So it's going to be a lot of fun. What can I say? Sit back, relax, enjoy 2 hours of Computer America coming right at you. Oh, and just to let you know, Sandy has a little bit of a cold, but she's fine, and I'm sure we'll do well. I could just say it's tears of joy that we're watching.
Yeah, for being on the show, you mean?
Yeah.
Until showtime.
That's it. That's always the reaction our guests get.
Teary-eyed.
I'm so happy to be here. That's so wonderful. They say that's where most of it comes from just touching your face. Your hands get on your nose. That's where it. So we can put on rubber gloves or something.
Oh, thank goodness! I thought it was that child coughing into my mouth. Oof! Word for a second.
Oh, that'll be good too. 30 seconds. 15.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show, the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it is Wednesday, and hopefully all of you are having a wonderful week. I know we are. We continue to talk about the Consumer Electronics Show. I mean, it is just an amazing event that happens out here in Las Vegas once a year. And yesterday we had Josh Boykin, our gamer expert, talking about all the different gaming devices and things that he saw out there. And they continue to go on. Today we have Sandy Berger, our consumer electronics expert, is going to be joining us talking about all the great things that she saw out there as well. If you have a comment or a question for us, we'd love to hear from you. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email, no email, but if you go to any page at ComputerAmerica.com, on the upper right-hand corner it says Submit a Question. Just click that and click the question submission page, into which you can type your question or comment. Click the submit button, and Ben and I will see it immediately. When it comes to seeing things, also, we have live video streaming at ComputerAmerica.com. We are a radio talk show, but we also provide live video of the program. You can see myself, you can see Ben, you can see Sandy today. You can see everything going on. Ben also has the technology to display websites, movies, videos, that type of thing, and we'll be doing a lot of that as well on today's program. It just enriches the experience we call Computer America. So we invite you to do all of that. Again, 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. Okay, so let me invite Sandy to the show. She is a consumer electronics expert, well-versed in things like printers, cell phones, digital cameras, things of that nature. Her website is CompuKiss.com. And Sandy is one of our Computer America correspondents who appears here on the show on a monthly basis. She also writes for a newdomain.net and hardwaresecrets.com, where she has like 4 of her stories right on the home page at hardwaresecrets.com. Very impressive. Sandy, welcome into Computer America. Need I say, how are you?
I'm glad to be here. I am not tearing from joy, though. I'm tearing because on my way back from CES, I was fine all week, had a great time, and got on the airplane and started sneezing and have been sick ever since. So if anybody's watching the video feed, if I drink a lot or cough a lot, you'll understand why.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's understandable. At least we're happy that you're here with us, because I know there's so much to talk about from what you saw out at CES. Let me just comment quickly editorially that one of the things we really like about Sandy is that when she talks about something, she's going to tell you if she likes it, and she'll tell you why, and she'll also tell you if she doesn't like it and tell you why. And you're getting the true editorial scoop here on anything that Sandy talks about. We really like for her to do that, and she does that quite well. So, so I know for the first time also you met Ben out in the CES, and that was one of the
what an honor.
One of the highlights.
There we go. Yeah, no, it was really fun after you've worked with somebody for a long time, and in this case, seen him on video feeds. You know, it was fun to actually meet him in person.
Was he everything you'd hoped for?
Well, he gave me a big hug. It was very nice.
Great. So and also,
I will say though, just anecdotally, that the person that Sandy appears to be here on the show is the same person that you get in person. So
is that good or bad, Ben?
I was about to say, for good or bad, that Sandy is Sandy.
No, you're supposed to say it's for good. Come on, give me a break.
Okay. That
right.
one, yes, for
yeah,
good,
okay.
absolutely good.
So
well,
go ahead.
You can tell we had a good time.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Ben had a good time. I kept getting pictures of the buffets that he kept attending out there. The food was amazing, as it is in Vegas. It's just a great town, and it's a lot of fun. It's like Disney World for adults, really.
If you go to Vegas as a member of the press, it is 10 times better.
Right.
Than being an average person there.
When more doors get open to you, you get more invitations, right? That type of thing.
That's right. You get press parties. You get free food. You get free drinks. But the products that the companies think are really important are put right before you. You know, so you don't have to go on the show floor and search things out. You still do. Everybody does that, but a lot of the stuff comes to you, which is a lot less stressful than having to go search everything out.
Right. Now, in anticipation of things, Sandy wasn't feeling very well in the past day or so, as you know, and also with kind of things being all over the floor map, we didn't do cheat notes this time, and I told her not to do it because there's just too much to talk about, and we like to get, we get sidetracked, and so we figured we're just going to talk about everything. So, but again, you can see a lot of the things at hardwaresecrets.com right on their homepage, and of course at CompuKiss.com. Sandy's written a lot of stories, but I'm going to kind of throw the floor open to you, Sandy. And before you get started, though, I always like to ask this of our correspondents. Any particular themes, events, or undertones of CES this year? Were things bigger, smaller? Was there a particular hot word or hot phrase this year? I mean, what was your perception?
I thought it was a very interesting year because basically I considered it a lull year. Okay, we've got tons of things coming out real soon, and you might have talked about that with virtual reality when you talked about gaming stuff. You know, I mean, the technology is there, but putting final touches on it, and it's not quite released yet. Same thing with cars. You know, the automotive industry is just booming with high-tech stuff, and they're getting it into the cars slowly. But the idea of the fully autonomous car, they're actually saying that they're going to be out in 2020.
Wow.
Which I think is, it might be true. They're saying there was someone who predicted that in 2025, half of the cars out there would be autonomous.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, so people in the industry are saying it's coming and it's coming quickly, but it's not quite there yet. And so basically, a lot of companies, what they did this year is they made things better. So there might not have been, really big announcements, but the small announcements were things that actually alleviated some of the users' frustrations in using these devices and added some great ideas as well.
So, I mean, improvements on some of the existing technologies, improvements on them, making them better.
Right. Right. For instance, look at the TV streaming TV devices that we have now. The most aggravating thing about streaming TV was having to use one of those on-screen keyboards with your remote control where you're going from trying to spell a word and going from letter to letter. Extremely aggravating. But this year, what came out is Apple TV, Amazon TV, and Amazon TV has Alexa, their voice activated, built into it.
Yes.
And so Apple TV has Siri built into it. So that was really big. All these devices that got voice activation and sensors. Sensors was, to me, the biggest thing in the show. They said that there were, just thousands, something like 15,000 of the 20,000 new products at CES had sensors in them.
Wow.
Now, what's the big deal about sensors? Well, the price has come down dramatically. When the iPhone first came out, sensors were running $15 to $25 a piece. Now the same sensors can be had for 50 cents a piece. Think about what a big difference that makes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so people can put sensors in, make the things affordable, and they're thinking of all these great ideas for how to use these sensors. Really shows how much intuitive things that we have out there, how many new ideas and imaginative stuff out.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly. So sensors. And sensors apply to just about everything that was shown out at the CES. I mean, they're all...
That's right. I mean, they talk about connected home, they talk about Internet of Things, they talk about all these different words that they use. These are all things that are connected to the Internet with sensors. And Ben, you probably saw a lot of that too, didn't you?
Ben? Oh, did we lose Ben? No, he's there. I don't know if he can hear us.
He can't hear us?
No, for some reason he can't hear. Ben, any particular reason why we can't hear you? He just made a motion with his hand. He's checking the connection to his microphone.
I don't see him either.
No, I see him.
You see him. I can't see him all of a sudden.
Yeah, but he's...
Well, so much for getting an answer from Ben. What can I say?
Well, he'll figure out what that is sometimes.
Okay.
But in the meantime, why don't you continue on? So sensors were built into...
Sensors were built into everything. And the other thing in this, what I consider a little bit of a lull year, I think the companies are thinking about the customers a little bit more. Like this thing using voice activation and all that. They're thinking about the frustrations that people had and what people want more than they do when they're... So even though many companies were focused on the next big coming thing, they looked more at what people wanted. And one place I really saw that was in turntables. Turntables, vinyl records have not disappeared. They've had a resurgence the last few years in particular, but people who have vinyl collections like me don't give them up. I mean, they just accumulate more records because the sound quality is so good. And there were, I think, 4 big companies, Ars Technica, Panasonic, and a few others.
I think RCA was out there. Victrola, I think, is one of those that they had.
Yeah, Spiral Groove. They're coming back with vinyl records, players, and they're incorporating new things. The Spiral Groove had one that was Ars Technica had one that was Bluetooth enabled. Wow. Now, it could play through Bluetooth speaker. That really intrigued me, and I really would love to look at that, because in most digital music, we compress it and get it down to a lesser quality than the vinyl, and that's why people listen to vinyl records, because the quality is so good. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they've done with these vinyl record players that they announced this year.
Well, one of the things. Well, there's Ben.
Yeah, I got it working. Google Hangouts decided that, hey, we need to switch everything. So thank you, Google.
Yeah, I think Google Hangouts, it did happen with Josh, though. Yes, remember how he kind of was breaking up? You're sounding like that. You may want to log off and log back in. I think that's what's happening, Ben. So, yeah, because you're getting intermittent. It's like broken up very badly, and I may just recommend you log out and come back in with that. But in the meantime, we're talking about the Ars Technica, not Ars Technica, the Victrolas. I mean, they look like the record players that you and I remember, Sandy, where they looked old-fashioned, yet like, for example, the record player will play 33 1/3, 45s, even 78s. You remember 78 records? I remember having those as a kid, 78 records. Okay. If you close the window, Ben, don't just when you would. Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's see if that works. He's going to close the window. He just let's see if we can come back. But anyway, it has all the support for these older technologies, but it's rife with modern technologies. You mentioned Bluetooth, Ethernet, all that. Okay. Hey, Ben, let's see if that worked now. No. Okay. Oh, and Sandy, you're back with us too.
I'm back. It froze on me.
Yeah. Ben, let's see if we can hear you now. Nope, don't hear you. Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. I do know you can close the window when you without ending the broadcast. So let's continue. So as I said, it has all of the different modern accessories to it, like Bluetooth, Ethernet, all those things.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben's back again. We're going to keep trying until he. There he is. That's it. That's good.
All right. Now, last time Ben came on, I got kicked off. So we'll see if we can both talk at the same time.
Right.
Then we were having a discussion about sensors and how the sensors have proliferated all over CES and all over the internet. And is that what you saw too?
Hopefully you can hear me fine this time.
Yes.
I sound okay. Wow, this is going well. I like this. All right, so sensors were indeed everywhere. I think my favorite was an offshoot, and I'm allowed to say this because they're an actual company, but they're an offshoot of this company actually. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of Big Ass Fans.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah, so they're a company. They make large fans, and they had an offshoot there. I want to say Haiku was their name. And these fans, they're definitely higher end. I mean, they like I was talking to the guy with the booth, and he pointed over at the fan. He's like, that fan right there costs $2,000, and I'm like, holy crap. So I was like, why is it so special? Well, the fan has sensors built throughout it, and not just temperature sensors. It has air quality sensors. It has motion sensors. It has light sensors. It has every sensor imaginable packed into a fan, so that let's say it turns to dusk and it knows that, hey, this family usually likes the fan on when the sun goes down, or the air quality gets to a certain level, the fan will turn itself on because the pollen or or just whatever is in the air reaches a certain level, the fan will kick on automatically. I mean, that seemed to be definitely a theme going through the CES, was that whatever you thought would be nice, I mean, they just put sensors into everything. There were home security systems where webcam and motion sensor, that's all pretty much been done to death. But I actually talked to a home security webcam, they do that kind of thing, but they have heat sensors, and that will alert you in case for some reason there's a heat anomaly. They have air quality sensors in there, so that if someone walks by and for some reason the other sensors pick it up, it'll pick that up. I mean, sensors, and not just motion or temperature sensors, but every kind of sensor was in everything. So
I can think of a good application for the heat sensor. If someone walks by and the heat sensor doesn't detect normal body temperature, that could be a zombie alert.
right. Think of all the shows on the Discovery Channel that are using all these different kinds of sensors to hunt ghosts. Well, everyone else kind of jumped on the same bandwagon, and now you will be protected with all these different kinds of sensors in so many different products.
You're right, and we can talk about sensors for hours, and we'll get back to that. But the big ass fan thing just amazed me that happened to be the one that you brought up, because I also thought they were pretty phenomenal. And one other thing, did you notice that big ass fans had another trend included? They're working with Amazon Echo.
They are, yeah. And not just not just the fan people, but a lot of people were. But yes, Alexa
was
Alexa
big
did a
elephant
lot.
in the room.
That made me happy too. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Amazon did not have a booth there. They didn't really have a presence. They had a few people. But Amazon wasn't there. They weren't at the show at all. It's just that Alexa was everywhere. This big ass fans, everybody was announcing that they were working with the Amazon Echo now. And that is an amazing move for home automation. Home automation, where they're at now is there's different protocols, there's different products. Not all of them work together, but I must have seen at least 20 products, big products, good products, that announced that they were working with the Echo this year.
Well, that's very gratifying to hear, because one of the bones that I've had to pick with the home automation companies, especially when they come on the show, is that I always say, who are you compatible with? I mean, well, we have all these different solutions, but the thing is, we need to find some sort of central OS or something where that all of them support, so they can all interchange and work with each other.
They're definitely getting there. Just going through CES, there was the camp. It was mostly the overseas manufacturers from Asia, Taiwan, and all that kind of stuff. They are still going with Zigbee, Z-Wave, and all that kind of stuff. But the standards that seem to be shaking out for almost every other manufacturer out there, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are almost everywhere at this point.
Right.
And Apple's iHome was a huge, had a huge presence, and then of course, as we just mentioned, Amazon and Alexa's definitely had a huge presence as well. Not so much Cortana, not at all, but iHome and Alexa were definitely huge winners.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I thought that the Echo had even more adaptation than the Apple Home. And that was really amazing, because Apple has so much money to go ahead and put into this stuff. They announced their iHome stuff well before the Echo came out, and still they're lagging a little bit behind. But I think that the reason for that is that Amazon, several months ago, maybe in the spring, I'm not really sure about the timing, but they have a developers fund, and they put $1 million into that fund to help other people, other manufacturers, go ahead and coordinate with Alexa. And I think that's why we saw the big burst of Alexa-related adaptation this year.
Really?
Yeah, it was a smart move.
Yeah. No, and I know that because I know you have an Echo, and certainly. We just have a commentary. I want to stay with that, but I just, someone wrote in here with a question, Sandy. He said, it's from Jonathan. He says, looking to the future, there's a modular smartwatch called Blocks to be set release in May of 2016. It would be great to get Sandy's take on the product when she's able to try it out. He says Blocks was at CES, but I think the product they had was, at that time was a non-working prototype, primarily designed to show how the watch bands link and can be easily swapped. And it's the website is chooseblocks.com. Did you get a chance to see that?
I did, and as he said, it was just a prototype. And there is so much of that at CES that I tend to wait until the final product actually comes out before I start talking about it, unless it's something I'm fairly sure is far enough along that they're going to actually complete the adaptation. So I'll go back and down and go back and take a look at it. Of course, wearables was another thing that was big at CES. They were everywhere with their sensors. But the one that impressed me there, as far as wearables, was the Samsung Gear 2. You know, I liked the Apple Watch. I like the Apple Watch very much, and I think they're outselling the Gear Watch. But what the Gear announced is a couple things that the Apple Watch can't do. Number one, you can make calls through the watch without having your phone available.
Yeah, that is different.
So you can actually take the watch, leave home. You have to have an account for it. So, but for a lot of people, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, they're thrilled to do that.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, Cindy. I mean, and I realize the merit of that, but the practicality is you're leaving home. You're not going to leave home without your phone. I mean, your phone goes everywhere you do. So to have the watch independently say, okay, you can work without the phone. Yeah, okay, but I can't remember a time ever where I would leave home without my phone.
Yeah, you're probably right for the most part, but it's still a feature that I thought was impressive. The other feature about the Gear, first of all, it's good looking. It looks more like a watch than a digital device, which Apple's watch looks like a digital device. The other thing I really liked about it, and I was amazed to hear them announce that they're going to work with Android, with iPhones. This is an Android operating system, and they say their Gear Watch sometime this year is going to work with Apple, with iPhones.
So if you have an iPhone, you can still work. Well, but is it going to when you say work with? In other words, it's going to have applications that it works with. I can't imagine how smooth that can be. I mean, obviously, Apple's designed their watch from the ground up to work with the iPhone. Is this going to be sort of like a kludgy add-on, or is it what's their intent?
I don't know, but their intent to work with Apple and to actually say, make the announcement that they're going to work with the Apple, I thought was dramatic, and that helps bring this IoT thing together, because again, the whole thing is to have all these products, or at least some of them, work together, so that people don't wind up with 15 different products in their home and none of them work together. So for Samsung, who's been an adversary of Apple for a long time.
That's the other thing I was going to bring up. They're adversaries, and then all of a sudden, I mean, the one lawsuit after another, and yet now they're saying they're going to work with the iPhone. That's really a kind of an about-face turnaround weird.
And well, that's what I think is happening this year. Things are shaking out dramatically. I call it a lull year, but the companies are realizing that they have to work with each other to make all this work. I think that we're going to get a winner in the home automation area as far as protocols and things like that. We're going to get a winner faster than we did with the Betamax VHS, which, if you're Craig's at my age, you remember. If you're younger, you might not remember that. But it took a long time for that to shake out. And Betamax was a superior quality. Absolutely no doubt about it. But VHS won because they were cheaper.
Yeah, but Betamax still were being used at broadcast stations because of the better quality for a long time.
But if we're talking about consumers,
Yeah, it's a different story, but it is a protocol thing, and somebody has to win, just like Blu-ray. Blu-ray won out over the other protocol.
HD DVD, yeah, exactly.
Right, and the same thing is going to happen here, I believe, anyway. And if we can come closer to Apple working with Android, that is a huge plus for the consumer. If we ever get to that point, I think it'll be tremendous for the consumer.
How is the price of the Samsung Gear Watch compared to the Apple Watch?
You know, on the show floor, the representative would not give me a price. They did come out with one that's platinum and one that's gold. They're plated. He would not give me a price. But when last time I looked at the Gear watches, these are not the newest ones, but they were in the $200 range, which is half the price of the iPhone.
And
Not iPhone, Apple Watch.
and of course, they're saying in March or something, they're going to be introducing the Apple Watch 2
Exactly.
processor. So I'm not sure if that's going to be thinner, faster, small, stronger. It'll be something, but it's going to be the next generation.
That's right. And these things just keep moving so quickly that it's hard to keep up. It really is. I think for the first time in my life, I'm finding that it's hard to keep up with the technology.
It is. I mean, it's moving so quickly. I mean, you get a new device, and if you get it when it's new, you can enjoy it for a while, and then you need to upgrade again. This is one of the reasons why I subscribe to the phone plan. So when this iPhone 7 comes up, I can upgrade my iPhone 6s to the 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, there are ways you can take advantage of that, and the Amazon Echo, that's one of the reasons I've talked about it here every month, because they keep adding features, and it's the same box, it's the same quality, everything is done automatically, but you get to have new things now. For instance, Uma, you like Uma, I know. You have an
I love
Uma.
Uma. Yeah.
Well, Uma announced that they are now going to be working with Amazon Echo. So you're going to be able to say, Alexa, give me my messages, and she'll give you your messages. And
That's nice.
I don't know exactly how far it's gone because I haven't had time to look at it. But they said they even have voice-enabled calling. So it's going to be spectacular. Alarm.com is working with Echo now. The number of devices that are going to be working with Echo, like Nest thermostats and all that, is tremendous.
All right. Well, listen, we're at the bottom of the hour. It's moving along really quickly. We're talking to Sandy Berger, our consumer electronics expert, talking about the Consumer Electronics Show 2016. We're going to take a small break. We have a news disposal review coming up as well, and then we'll continue on with her. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We will be right back.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Radio. Oh, cool. I thought it was just haunted. Hi, it's Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, it's bed phones. Bedphones are purpose-built headphones for wearing to bed, but not just. They're as light as earbuds, but nothing enters your ear canals, so there's nothing to torque it when you put your head down on the pillow. Instead, a thin disc floats above. You position it by bending an ear hook wire, a very easy deed. The sound quality is extraordinary, perhaps in part because the disc shape allows a larger diaphragm. We detected no shaping or spectrum boosts to color the sound. So bottom line, Bedphones offer a comfy way to enjoy really good sound, very good sound quality, whenever you want it, even at bedtime. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour. We're here both hours with Sandy Berger, and we are talking all about CES and everything going on there. And I just ran and got my camera that I used to take all my pictures from CES. And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to delete like the outermost 2 inches from almost all these photos, sadly, because my fingers were in every one of them. So,
Oh, how did that happen?
it's a tiny little GoPro-esque camera.
Yeah.
So I have fat fingers, and yeah,
Okay.
it happens. But yeah, I mean, just looking at all the different things that they had here, they had so much. And before the break, I think we just started getting into wearable technology and wearables, which were very, very present out at CES. And wearables blended in heavily, and I mean really heavily because just in that section, fitness was I think just being at CES, the main pusher for wearables. Yeah, you can integrate something with your watch, and yeah, that'll be fun and all, but fitness was, I think, the biggest one. And it mixes again with the thing that we talked about a little bit earlier with sensors, in that all these wearables that are fitness-oriented have sensors just packed to the gills. That they have heartbeat sensors, they have temperature sensors, they have footstep sensors. They just everything that you could possibly want to track as someone who's trying to get healthier, or just trying to track your fitness. This will track it, including sleep sensors as well. So that was a huge thing.
They had a sleep sensor that you didn't have to attach it to yourself anymore. That was the horrible thing about, you had to put these electrodes and things all over you. Now they have it. You don't attach the sensors to you anymore. You just put it under the first sheet at your bed, and that's all. And then it tracks.
At least I've seen at least 5 companies that have sleep sensors like that. Sleep Pace, I think, was one that was pretty big and had some great things. But you have this strip you put under the sheet, and that's all you need. And it will track how many times you get up during the night, your heart rate, and all this other stuff. So I agree with what Ben said completely, is that fitness was number 1, and number 2 probably was the idea of tracing your sleep. And they went along with things to wake you up gently in the morning. So you had lights or whatever that would come on, and the sleep sensors would tell when you were getting restless enough to be woke up. It's amazing what they know about you and these sensors, and how easy they are to use now.
I thought one of the gentles, what they do is they have under the sheet the sensor, and they want the gentle to wake up, and as you begin to wake up, they have a large bucket of water over you, and then
No.
A gentle wake-up experience? No.
No. But actually, I'm going to try out some of these and see if they actually make me feel better when I get up in the morning, because that's the whole purpose, is to give you suggestions over how you can sleep better and to wake you up gently so that you feel better instead of waking up with a screaming alarm. So
yeah,
we'll see how all that goes as the year processes here.
All right. Again, though, I have memories of when you have to go to a place that's not your home, and you have to stay there overnight, and they put millions of these different sensors over wires over you, and I say, okay, now go to sleep. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, you can't. So now the fact that they can probably do this without attaching everything. And again, you could do it from your home. So I would think the next step would be, when you get all the readouts, you just send all those to your doctor. You email them or something, and then you don't have to. You do everything to come from your own home. Maybe these
So health-related things are big.
Yeah, and maybe some of these other companies, they'll either go away or they will adapt and they will rent you the equipment. You call them and say, okay, well we're going to rent you the equipment to buy it. Yeah.
That probably won't happen either. The technology that we're talking about, where you have to go somewhere and you have grad students doing all this stuff to you, that's completely obsolete at this point. You don't need to do that. And with a Sleep Ace, I think it was a SLEEPACE. So it's like Sleep Pace, Sleep Ace.
Sleep Ace. That's the company that I just mentioned. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you can buy all that for $150, why would you go somewhere and spend a couple hundred to God knows how much to get the same kind of results? And this you can do every single night. It's just they're making like maybe that was another trend, was that affordability seems to be really key here. Don't get me wrong, there were a few things that were sticker shock. It was like a $4,000 pair of headphones. It was a $10,000 tube amp. Like there was stuff like that there, but most of the stuff they really are targeting for that $100 to $300 price range. Like nothing too far out of there.
Right, and the reason they can do that is because, again, the price of sensors just keeps coming down. But you do pay for things that have more sensors than for things that have less sensors. However, it's still amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it we're looking at here, Ben? And
all the pictures, if you're watching the video portion of the show, these are the pictures. You'll see my chubby little fingers on the sides of them, but these are all of just the pictures that...
And the one that he just had up had vinyl turntables.
Yeah.
Which we talked about, yeah.
Yeah, and like there's this one here. This is probably the most disappointing booth that I saw out there. I believe they were... not definitive. They were definition, DDD definition or something like that. Mm-hmm. They promised glassesless, no glasses, 3D.
3D.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3D.
How was that for you?
Not very good.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of technology they had behind the scenes of this thing, but to get it, you could kind of, like, if you move left to right as you were looking at it, or just kind of move your head a little bit, you could see like dips and high points in the screen that probably created some kind of faux 3D effect. But it was very disorientating. Like you really don't see anyone standing there looking at the 3D and like just kind of studying it, because it made you a little uncomfortable to sit there and watch it.
It makes you dizzy. And this in particular made me very dizzy, but wearing 3D glasses also makes me dizzy. I mean, I just went to see Star Wars, and they said, do you want to go in the 3D theater? And I said, no, please, no. I don't want anything to do with that. And, TV, obviously, at CES, but, the TVs are now having the HDR built in, which gives you enough of a 3D effect or a realism effect without going full force 3D.
Right. So.
And Samsung had, I thought, the best press conference of anybody, probably close to, or at least as good as Apple stuff when they have events. Samsung just did a great job. There were other companies, LG, and some that I went to. I could not necessarily understand the people that were up on the stage because they had accents that were not totally American. And Samsung, even though it's not an American-based company, I could understand everybody, and they made some tremendous announcements. I thought that was really good. Did you?
Yeah, Ben went to the Samsung.
Yeah, the Samsung event, I believe, was Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to not get into the main room. A little bit too late for that, but I went to the second one where they piped the video in, And it was a very, well, I take it back. Most of it was very impressive.
Okay, what wasn't impressive?
The laptops I was not blown away with at
Right,
all.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think nobody is actually focusing on laptops, especially at CES this year. Although Lenovo had some very nice stuff, and Lenovo had, I can't recall off the top of my head what they called it, but it was a tabletop model, which Microsoft had one in prototype 4 years ago, 5 years ago at CES.
That was called start with an S, I think.
I want to say base or something like that.
No, it was.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
They wanted to push it as some kind of unit that you kind of put out on your coffee table and
Yes.
have multiple people playing it and stuff like that.
Right, and it was big. I mean, like 3 feet by 3 feet, but you could actually play table tennis or ice hockey or whatever on it.
Right.
It had some great features. That was a really unique thing. Again, Microsoft had this years and years ago, and it maybe just will take this long to catch on, but I thought that was pretty phenomenal. You know, it's funny at CES.
It was called the Surface. It was called Surface.
No, I don't think Lenovo's was called Surface.
No. Microsoft.
Microsoft's was called Surface. Yes.
Surface. Yes, exactly.
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And the funny thing about CES is you see things that you think, oh, this is a fantastic idea, this is wonderful, and then it just it peters out or doesn't come on board. CES then, but in 2002 I was going to Comdex. If you remember, Comdex was the big computer show. And Bill Gates had a huge announcement for their tablet PC. He had a party which I consider the best CES party I've ever gone to. It was really spectacular. The device was spectacular for the time in 2002, but it was heavy, it was big, and it was overpriced. Well, what did it take? 10 years before the tablet PC really caught on, and it wasn't Microsoft at all. It was Apple who brought it to fruition. So it's real interesting to see how these things go when you look at all the trends and the products that are released as they go over year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even finding a reference to it. I see the one called the Sur 40, but that's not the one that you're talking about.
No, and you know, I have Lenovo did not have any press information on it, but I do have the guy's card. I'll let you know what that is when I find it. I have not even started to go through all my CES stuff. You know, it's amazing about, you know, you talk about 2002 going that far back. That was before they had USB drives. So everybody would have their press releases on paper, and you would accumulate so many press releases that you had to actually mail them back. You couldn't carry them around. Then, as the years progressed, they started doing it on USB drives, and I still enjoy getting the USB drives, even though now most people are just giving you a card with a Q code, and you go online and look up the press kit. But I really enjoyed the USB drives, and so this year I picked out the USB drive that I thought was the most unique, and I'm going to show it to you if you can see it.
Is that the one that's built into a business card? Oh, no. No, it's a race car.
It's a race car. It was Mario Andretti was at one of the press shows, and this was their. It's really adorable, and it's heavy like a real metal car. Unbelievable.
And it's a USB drive.
And that's a USB drive with the press kit. Now, Mario Andretti was there about Tom's car, an insurance company, because now insurance, well, the main companies, Ford and all them, are working on the technology to put in these cars. The insurance is a big thing. How are they going to insure these autonomous cars? You know, when you're not driving, but the car itself is driving, who's going to have the loss if there's an accident? Who's responsible, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a big thing that they are already working on.
Either the owner of the car, and because if you lend your car to somebody else, you're responsible. That's even today. If you have an autonomous car that you own and you lend it to someone and there's an accident, well, it's your.
Right, but
yeah.
if the car makes a mistake because the car's been programmed poorly or something, then the manufacturer might be,
Well,
like the
that's
Volkswagen stuff we've got going on now. And
that's going to be worked out in the course. But you're right. The Lenovo Horizon 2 table PC, was that the one you were talking about?
still don't.
That's what says Horizon 2. Oh, I'll
It
go.
might be. It might be. But anyway, it was very nice.
Yeah. Ben had a very novel USB one. I thought it was actually built into a business card, and it looks like a square card, and then it pivots. The USB dongle pivots out from the card, and then you use it, and then you put, and it pivots back into the card.
Yes, I do have one of those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
My choice for last year's was Gibson. Gibson had one that was shaped as a
Guitar.
guitar, and it was just, I don't have it here, but it was just adorable. I kept it. This is the business card, if anybody's watching.
Hold it up higher. Yeah. Okay.
I can't get it out, but anyway.
No, see, his was different. His
Flipped out. I had another one that flipped out. This one, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There, it does flip out.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
This kind of swivels out, I guess, is but that is cool. They are cool.
There were all sorts of different ones. I've got another one here. That looks like a block of Legos.
Ah, it's a Lego block. And it's a USB drive.
I mean, it's amazing when you get back home and you have all the stuff you're looking at. I can't believe. Here's a earphones called a Happy Plug. It's by a Swedish company, and I don't know if you could see it. I was impressed with the box because the box puts these two headphones in there and makes it look like it's a musical note.
Oh, yes.
And they're rose gold plated. I don't know if it's real rose gold plating, but they look like rose gold.
Ben,
I haven't tried them yet.
Ben, how
Called
come
Happy Plug.
How come you didn't get as much swag as Sandy? What is Sandy?
I'm lucky I came home with the amount of swag I left with because I packed my suitcase full. Like, I did not have enough space for anything
You came back
else.
with a drone. With a little tiny...
Well, there was one thing that I did take, and I was thrilled that I took. I mean, sometimes people will offer you things as a member of the press, and you'd love to review it, but you don't want to drag it home. However, somebody gave me a big box. I'm going to show it to you. It's called LumiWave, LumiWave.
Yes.
And, okay, I don't know. I have not seen this before, but it's kind of like the willow curve that you see on TV all the time. And what it is, it's infrared light therapy. So this is the little device.
Look at that.
And the reason I took this, even though it was a big box, was because, I had an operation on my hand. I had actually two operations on my hand.
And you put that on,
wasn't healing well.
No, you put that on your forehead?
No, you put it on whatever hurts you. If it's your wrist,
okay.
you're gonna put it around your wrist or your knee or your leg or your back or whatever.
Yeah.
It plugs in, it lights up, it warms up, and it gives you light therapy. And I tried it the last 2 days since I've been back, and it has helped my hand. My finger, the finger that was operated on, was close to 2.5 months ago. And I took the swelling down.
What?
So I'm not making any medical claims. I'm not saying, I still want to test it a little bit more. But I was really impressed with that and glad that I picked it up.
Yeah, my wife has something similar to that. It's like red LEDs. There's no.
Are you talking about the Quill?
No, not the quilt. This is another thing. It was some red LEDs that her physical therapist gave her to, and again, there's no substantiation that it's going to do anything, but there's a lot of
the finest in placebo technology delivered to your home
that suggests that there might be some therapeutic value for this. So, and she tried it on, and it worked very well for her. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's amazing. I mean, the variety of things that we saw at CES was, to me, unbelievable.
Right. So we're continue on. So what was it the year before? Everything was TVs. Anything in the TV arena that you saw? at CES this year?
I think it's pretty amazing that they can still make these pictures better, and they still make them bigger. There, of course, were TVs that were more than 100 inches. There were somebody had an 8K TV. Obviously, we don't need that any more than we needed.
LG had the 8K.
Right. But we don't need that, as far as I'm concerned, any more than we needed 3D TV, which they're still incorporating into new TVs, but it's kind of died out. The big brouhaha has died out over that.
I think 4K is going to be the standard where it's going to kind of level off. Yeah. Even Apple reduced their 5K max to a 4K. They did it very quietly. They went back.
Yeah, I think 4K is going to be the standard. I was amazed. You mentioned Apple. I was amazed that Apple TV does not support 4K.
Yeah. I saw it on the keynote. It does not support 4K for the Apple, but that doesn't mean that the next iteration will. It probably will.
Yeah, but at the price that they're charging for it, they're charging like $300, which is in excess, like twice. All Apple stuff is twice as expensive. But I'm not going to want to buy another one in 2 years or something like that. So
Right.
yeah, I think that they made a mistake there, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know, so we got a 4K TV just a couple of weeks ago, and very, very pleased with it. As I mentioned, we couldn't refuse the price. The price of the TV for a 4K 50-inch TV was like about a little under $600.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know. Is exactly my point. Vizio, who is known for making economic TVs, no longer. I mean, they make very high quality TVs, and this thing is absolutely gorgeous. When it's on and you're not looking at a picture, it looks like it's off. It's that black. Even in dark light, you can't even tell that it's on because it uses this kind of interesting matrix technology for the LEDs to light it up, and it's just a beautiful television. So
Yeah, I like Vizio TVs. I don't have a 4K TV, but I got something at CES that's going to give me a 4K TV. It's called M-Cable.
Oh, all right. Tell us about this.
Okay, this is I wish I had time to try it, but next month when I come on, I'll give you a full review. It's the only HDMI cable that improves picture quality. Scales to 1080p and 1080p to 4K. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that television transmissions that you're getting now are not 4K, and many of them are still 720p.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this is it's just an HDMI cable, and for years I've been saying buy the cheapest HDMI cable you can find because either it works or it doesn't work. It's not like the old cables where the quality made a huge difference. However, this cable is different. It has a chip built into it, an upscaling chip, and the demonstrations at CES were pretty phenomenal of how well it upscaled. Upscaling is something that is kind of like
Doubling.
Yeah, it's like being a baker, though. Some of them are really good, when you taste them, and some of them are not so hot. So this one looked really good, and it was totally amazing to me that I think this is selling for like $89 or something like that. But the idea is that you just use this cable on your TV and you can get a better picture without buying a 4K TV.
Wow.
Pretty amazing if it works.
Yeah, if it works, you have to give it a try. Absolutely.
The company is called Marseille. Let's see if they have a www.marseilleproducts.com. Marseille, Marseille Products. So anybody interested in that, I'll let you know next week. And as a matter of fact, I must say, because of coming back sick, I have not posted anything on CompuKiss, which I hope to do within the next few days. So we'll have our CES stuff going up on CompuKiss soon. And I am writing the elephant in the room, the Amazon Echo at CES. I'll be writing that article for Hardware Secrets soon, too.
Well, you've picked no bones about it. You really do like the Amazon Echo and have said so, and certainly it's gratifying to see that they're continuing to improve the product without forcing you to buy new hardware, which is
Although that's very true, but there was an article in the Wall Street Journal this week that said that Amazon is coming out with a new Echo. Now, they don't talk about it having more capabilities. I believe it's going to have the same capabilities, but it's going to be something like a beer can size and something that you won't have to plug into the wall all the time. So it'll be rechargeable batteries and less expensive. Their Echo is $179 now. So they're looking at something less expensive. Again, to me, a very, very good move to bring it back into people's hands, that people can afford it. And the other thing that Wall Street Journal stated about, and I haven't talked to Amazon about this, but Wall Street Journal said that the new Echo would not be always listening. You would have to press a button or something on it to ask it a question. That, to me, has its advantages and its disadvantages. And the main advantage, I would still go with the Echo that's always listening because it's much easier to use. But I had a friend who got an Echo for Christmas, and she sent it back because she didn't feel comfortable because it was always listening. And I said to her, you can always turn it off and turn it back on again. And the Echo was spying on her. So to have a smaller device that you could have more control over and is less expensive might be a good move for Amazon.
But they may want to come up with a deluxe version too. This is like a less expensive version, which makes sense. But I'm sure they're going to look for coming out with a next version or a deluxe version too.
Well, they will. I mean, there's no doubt. I've had my Echo for almost a year now, so
they're about due.
Yeah, about due for a new one.
And we're about due for a top of the hour break.
Okay.
But we're going to be right back. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Sandy Berger, consumer electronics expert, here with us back from the Consumer Electronics Show. She was out there with Ben, and she's giving us her views of some of the many different products that she's looked at and is in the process of reviewing. We're at the top of the hour. We're going to take a short break. Another News Tips Bulletin review coming up as well. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We will be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Well, we know somebody's mic is working. Somebody just coughed right in my ear. Almost blew my headsets off.
It was me. I'm sorry.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we're coming to you laughing and smiling and coughing from the Consumer Electronics Show. Sandy Berger, just back from the CES. It's finished up this past week. We were out there. Ben was out there covering it. He finally got to meet Sandy.
And also, while we were out there, Sandy introduced me to someone who gave me my new best friend. His name's Igni, for Igneous. And, yeah, it was the nice folks over at .pet Rock or .pet domain names.
Yeah.
So
you never know what you're going to find at CES. And I was privileged to actually meet the fellow who does your Marty Winston. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, you got to meet Marty Winston.
I got to meet Marty Winston, and I told him, I said I was listening for his voice somewhere, but I never knew what he looked like. So
my apologies for that, but he's a funny guy, and he was out there, yes, doing the CES show with us. He appeared a couple of times on the program. We have another half hour with you that we're going to be doing sometime during the week. We'll play that as well. That was before you caught the cold. And
Yeah.
exactly. But Sandy, again, a consumer electronics expert, author at CompuKiss.com and HardwareSecrets.com and a new domain.net, some of the websites that carry her articles. She is a consumer electronics expert who tells you like it is. If she likes something, she tells you. If she doesn't like you, like it, she doesn't like you. She's gonna let you know that too. But if she
I'll
doesn't
let
like
you know.
she'll let you know and why. So,
Oh, you put me on the spot here.
no, exactly. So we continue on. I just started asking about TVs, and you mentioned that TVs weren't really the main thrust. I mean, like CES 2 years ago, or even last year, TVs were the hot thing to talk about. They've come out with, as you said, a bigger. LG introduced an 8K 100-incher, but we are.
But like TVs were there, and uh, I got this sense from a lot of people. Like, it was my first time there, as we've said 1,000 times already. But I was there with Josh Boykin and Herman Exum, and like they were going in, and their main thrust, they had a very decided. We're going to focus on audio. We're going to focus on audio for this purpose, and we're just going to focus on that. And my first time, I run in there, and I'm just swamped by the amount of technology, by the TVs, by the smart cars, by the automation, by the everything. I'm just like, this place is amazing. And then to hear Sandy and Josh and everyone come out saying, it wasn't that good this year. I'm like, what? It was awesome.
That's true. I mean, you do tend to, if you go year after year, you tend to compare the years and what was new and all that. Going to CES is always a big thrill, and every year I say I'm not going back because it's at Christmas time. Something like this happens where I get sick from being there, and you ask me in January and I'll say I'm not going back. Ask me in November, and I probably made my reservations already. So, that.
You can't become jaded. I'm sorry. You think you become jaded, but when you get there, there's so many cool things out there that even the most experienced. The one who might disagree is Nathan Evans, managing editor, Bob Sarah. He said he was.
He's the worst kind of jaded. He's jaded and over it.
Well, you can get that way. There's no doubt about it. But I can still get excited about the small innovations. And that's where you have to be. You have to, look at some of these small things that happen. For instance, Ventev they make cables and backups and different things like that. But anyway, they improved their little cables this year, which was amazing. And I'll hold one up. I don't know if you can really get a look at it. But the cable itself, it's slightly colored, which is nice. And it's got like a metallic backing on it so that it just doesn't get tangled.
Oh, look at that. It just springs open.
It just springs open, and yet it's substantial. I think these things Ventev guarantees them for life, which they have on their previous cables as well. But I was really impressed with these just because they're so strong, and they used to make all different colored ones, and they still do. And that's also very good because when you get the colored ones, you can, if you've got an Apple, you can leave all your Apple in one color and your Android in a different color and just grab the right cable. So, little tiny thing.
Even when they're connected, Sandy, I have to tell you, because I have 10 USB devices or something, and I'll look at it, and I have to manually trace it, to find it. I'm doing something. If it's a color, I just follow the red cable or the green cable or the blue cable. So even when they're connected, the color is still very important, especially if you're doing some sort of diagnostic, or even if you're untwisting things, or if you're just moving things around, you don't have to worry about which cable goes where because you can see the colored connections. It's a very nice feature to have.
Yeah.
I can see that, but I'm really jazzed about the fact how that springs open like that because, as so many of you might know, dealing with long cables, what do they tend to do? They twist, and they knot, and if they can find a way to get hooked into another, hooked onto something else, they're going to do it. So having it so the cable comes out and stays relatively straight, that's impressive. I like that.
Right, and there were, of course, wireless chargers that were available this year. There's still two competing technologies for that, but those were available. Another,
Hold on, I don't interrupt you, but I think that's one of the things that they're hinting at Apple for the next iteration for the iPhone 7. First of all, they're getting rid of the headphone jack. It's all going to be Lightning connectors. And
okay.
then the second thing is that it may charge wirelessly. It might be an option. There was a hint of that.
Well, I think that's very nice. And Kensington or someone had a laptop stand that actually had where it lifted your laptop up so you could see the screen, and the underneath part about it had wireless charging, so you could just place your devices there. So they're coming up with new kind of nifty devices for old things as well. And one other one that I really liked was a little cable controller. See that? You know, this little device here that you can. Okay, it's just a plastic thing that.
Like a pipe cleaner.
Yeah, it's like a pipe cleaner, but it's actually got an end on there that you can keep right over the end of your thing so that it stays with the cable.
That's nice.
My problem for these little ties all the time is that I lose the tie and then my cables are everywhere. This was by a company called Night Eyes, Niteize, and they had some unique little things like that, you know, cables and stuff like that, but that were actually better than last year's versions.
Yeah.
So I got excited about that.
Well, innovative things like that. I mean, that's on the paperclip level, you know. I mean, something simple, easy, but yeah, hey, you know, it's something that you could. Why didn't somebody think of this before? Type of scenario. Yeah. And so you find a bunch.
Right. Now something else.
Go ahead.
Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
I'm here.
No.
Okay, all right. I was going to mention another device that maybe Ben saw because it was called TrackR, Trackr. Did you see that, Ben?
I don't think I did.
Okay, I'm going to hold it up for anybody watching the video. This is a little tracker device. Okay, now there have been other companies that have had these trackers out, and I've always found something terribly wrong with them. They just didn't work or whatever. But this device seems like it would work just fine. They announced that it would work with the Echo 2. So you put it on your keys, and then you ask Alexa, where are my keys? It's got features that I have not tried yet. This, again, will be something we'll talk about next month. But couple things I liked about it, and one was that this tracker has crowdfunding. So if you lose your tracker in the house or nearby, you can beep it. But if you lose it someplace out and you don't know where your keys are or your cell phone or whatever you've got the tracker attached to, anybody who has a tracker will look for a lost tracker and alert you when it's found, where it's found.
You know, it's a wonderful idea. My only negative thing I could see is that there are not enough people out there to take advantage of that. You know,
I asked how many people had these devices already, and I don't want to say the exact number, but it was quite large. And I'm sure if you're in a big city, you know, you've probably got a better chance than if you're out in rural America someplace. But just the idea of it was really good. Now, when they get this thing is about the size of a quarter, and it hooks onto your backpack, your keys, whatever you want to hook it onto. When they get this device down to something that you can put on your glasses, that's when they're really going to take off. Because the one thing people lose, I think, most often is their glasses. Because, you know, people are farsighted, nearsighted, they're constantly taking these glasses on and off, and I just think that would be a fantastic thing. Anyway, it's called the Tracker.
Yeah, we actually had a company on Monday before we left for CES.
Yeah, they were French. A French company.
Yeah, a French company. They actually flew out there. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to stop by their booth, but they essentially do the exact same thing. And I did see other companies promising to do the same thing. They also offered things like sensors the size of credit cards, so you can slip them in your wallet.
They were with Sticky. Was the name of the company. With sticky.
Yeah, to
Sticky. Okay.
With sticky.
so this just goes back to the very beginning of the show, where sensors, and now they want you to put them on things yourself.
Right, and eventually be so that they're such a part of our lives that they understand everything, including our emotions. If you think about that, if there are sensors that can tell when you're depressed and you come home feeling very, very bad, Alexa or whoever your home automation is going to be might say to you, hey, there's this great happy comedy movie on tonight. Why don't we watch that? You know, this is where we're going, though. If you think about it, the sensors are going to be able to understand us a lot more, maybe than we understand ourselves. Should be interesting.
Or just, hey, there's a girl that I want you to meet. Cheer.
Yeah, I think we're doing that already through the internet, aren't we?
When Amazon Echo starts doing it for us,
That's true. Well, put your imagination to work, Craig, and see what you come up with, because that's what thousands are doing right now with these sensors. They're saying, what can we do with these sensors?
Mm-hmm. I think they kind of already know. They're just trying to implement them.
Well, no, I don't think they do. I think it's a progressional thing. I think it's going to build. As we get more sensors and learn more about people, they're going to figure out new ideas of what to do. Samsung had their refrigerator that was it this? Yeah, it was this Samsung. No, it was the LG refrigerator that you knock on the door and it shows you what's inside without having to open the door. You press on the floor and the door will open for you if you have your arms full of groceries. The door opens automatically. I mean, these are little tiny things that they've added. Some of them are only for people who like to be in control.
Well, you see, that's practical. I mean, how many times have you and I walked up to it and we got both our hands full, and I got to try to get the door open? So
right.
It's like
that's why we have teeth, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was the point.
Teeth, yeah. Or the hatchback of cars now that will open. Because you have your hands full. I mean, it's. I think it's the same mindset.
Exactly.
It'll open up for you. Ben pointed out something very interesting about the refrigerator though with the monitor. I said, yeah, you can. The monitor will show you what's on the inside. You don't have to open the door. It saves energy, that type of thing. But then Ben came up with a good point. He says, yeah, but what's wrong with that picture? I said, what do you mean? He said, I mean, how often you have everything you want right at the front? What about the items in the back?
Exactly. Yes, there. That was the first thing that I thought of, that taking a picture of, and that's how it works, they take a picture of what's inside the refrigerator would not necessarily help me because my refrigerator at times is quite messy.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you do get used to keeping the milk in front of the refrigerator, when you're at the grocery store, you fire up this app and say, do I really need milk? Oh, look at the picture. Yeah, I need milk. So it's got its advantages. I think the whole home automation thing is great for people who really want to be in control of things. But then there are other people like myself who just want a little more ease of use. For instance, when I set up Alexa with light bulbs, and I just never thought about it. We used to go into the living room, we turn the living room lights on, and they'd be that way all night, and that's it. However, now I'll say, Alexa, turn the living room lights to 20%, or to 40%, or to 50%. I use IFTT to turn the living room lights on when my cell phone gets into the driveway. So at night, only at night, of course. So like we came in from CES, we got in at 2 in the morning, and drive up to the house, and the driveway is dark, but park the car, and guess what? IFTT and Alexa have turned the lights on for me. These are little conveniences that I wouldn't want to live without again. I mean, it's just fun things that make your life easier. That's
Yeah,
what all these sensors will do for us.
you're absolutely right. Right now, when we come up, I have a, I push a button in the car, and the Crestron system detects it and turns the garage lights on, and a certain set of lights on for me. But you're right. I mean, now I even have to push the button. You know?
Right. Yeah. It's amazing. You don't realize that your life can be even easier than it is.
Yeah, it is. Just little things. Again, that example of the refrigerator door. If your hands are full, you just hit it with the switch and the door opens for you. That's nice.
There's a company, you may have heard of them, called Bosch, and they're doing a lot with connected stuff and all
Right.
kind of stuff. They had a very, very nice booth set up there, and I was lucky enough to get their card, and we're actually going to have their smart home kind of department on, and a lot of things that we're talking about, they don't have their own standard, but they're working to make sure that a lot of the smart home devices, from appliances to TVs to lights to fans, stuff like that, all works, and they kind of had a demonstration of what a smart home would be like, and I think it was so convenient that the Bosch booth employees were sitting in the little smart home demonstration area, and they kind of just they were turning the light on and off, they were turning the fan on and off, the TV, the stove, like they were just kind of sitting around, just enjoying how convenient a smart home would be.
Right. And Bosch makes a lot of sensors for other people as well. I have a Bosch dishwasher, which I bought not too long ago, and it actually has a sensor so that if the water leaks out, I think it's near the dishwasher, but if there's a water leak, it'll turn the water off.
That's nice.
And these little things like that. There were Iris, the home automation that's done by the hardware company.
Iris.
Iris had some new sensors that were water sensing. Unfortunately, you had to buy quite a few of them to cover a lot of things in your house, rather than installing it on the central water. But in any case, water damage is a huge problem for people, for insurance companies, for everyone. And so, these home automation things, they're coming out with more and more little things that are just fantastic. I love Bosch. I think they've done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
They do, yeah. But
my point with all that was that there are, like, I really do feel like the industry is coming at it from both ways. They're coming at it from, here are our products, and they're going to work with these standards, and they're going to make your home smart. And then there's the other side where here are the sensors, put them in everything that you can. Like, the entire industry is definitely moving towards iHome to Alexa and Amazon and stuff like that. Just everything is moving towards a smart home. So don't worry about jumping in right now. It's just that eventually, be it 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road, you're going to have a smart home regardless. Like, it's just like nowadays how it's getting harder and harder to find a TV that isn't a smart TV. It's going to be the same way, where you're just going to be, in a smart home eventually.
You're right. I think that was good advice that you gave. You don't have to jump into it all at once. But there are certain things that I think you can add. I saw a company called Ring Video Doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it attaches to your, outside your house, takes pictures all the time. And the police have stated that a lot of burglars will ring the doorbell several times to make sure you're not home before they try to break in.
Yeah.
So if you've got this app, it will ring your cell phone when somebody rings your doorbell. And you can come on, you can be in a restaurant someplace and say, oh, I can't talk to you now, I got to give the kids you're at home. These are things that people can add. Alexa is another thing people can add and use as much as they want. As the protocols all shake out and we decide where everything's going with this connected home. I have a washer and dryer right now that I can control with an app. You know what? I've never installed the app because what do I want to turn the dryer on from my cell phone for, or be alerted that the dryer goes off. I'm right here in the house. The dryer's right here. So there are certain things that I personally wouldn't want to use that I might think are silly. There's others, connected door locks. I'm not comfortable with that yet. Schleg and a bunch of others have had that. You just open the, alarm.com, all of them. You open the door when you want to, and I just don't trust that yet. But a doorbell that would make a video of who's at the door, I might go for something like that. So I think that use a little bit of it, use as much as you want, and realize that 10 years from now you are going to have some sort of a connected home.
Yeah, we interviewed a company called, I think, Ring was the name of it.
That's who she's talking
That's what I'm talking about, Ring.
Yeah, I thought it was EDYN or Ed.
EDYN is a company that keeps control of your garden.
Oh,
right.
They will water your garden for you. In other words, they tell you. They monitor the temperature. They monitor the watering of your garden. So if you've got prize roses or something like that, and you want to make sure that they're always watered, you can Eden will even provide sensors, not sensors, but they also provide the little hose hookups so that can be watered automatically.
That's very cool.
Ring was actually sharing floor space with someone else. I don't recall who, but we had the CEO and founder of Ring, on. I'm not gonna say we made him famous, but he was actually on talking about his product, and then about like 2 or 3 weeks later, he sold it to, or at least made a partnership with Home Depot, I think, and it's just kind of blew out from there. So Ring, it was good to see him out there, but this was a grievance that I've heard from quite a few people, was that this CES, why I feel like why you, Sandy, maybe, and Josh and Herman found the CES a little frustrating, was that it wasn't necessarily about the technology that is coming out today or tomorrow. It's that half of the products there were released 4 months before, and then the other half are going to be released by the end of the year.
Exactly.
So there wasn't really that much going on right now. It was what kind of happened a little bit ago and what's going to happen a little bit ahead. And Ring is just an example of that.
And it is always that way. And not only that, but on top of that, you have these products that are announced, and you think, what a fantastic product that's going to. They don't get the funding, they can't get the technology worked out. So you see a lot of that as well. But that's, in a way, it makes it a little frustrating, but in a way it makes it more fun because you can see what people are working on, and hopefully what will come out there.
Now I'm looking at something here again from Hardware Secrets in your one of your stories, Sandy. And if I understand this correct, this is amazing. This is an example of augmented reality where I pop the hood of my car.
Oh yeah.
And I take my smartphone, and with using the camera on the smartphone, I see the engine, but then the application labels everything for me. What is that?
It's fantastic. This is Hyundai, and actually I was jumping for joy when I saw that. They were at one of the press shows. They were showing off a car. The reason I jumped for joy is because I just bought a Hyundai 2006.
Okay.
Electra. Oh, what they're doing is, your cars are one of the few things that still come with a booklet, an owner's manual, right? Yes. Computers don't come with that anymore, but cars still do. Well, they've taken that one step farther. They have an app. The app is already there, and they're adding this virtual reality onto the app, so that you open the hood of your car. Say you want to know how to add water. And some people, they don't want to mix up the water with the oil or whatever. So, you hold the phone up to the engine, and it will label what is what in the engine. And if you told the app that you want it to fill the water tank, it will give you step-by-step instructions and a video as you're standing there of where that is and how to do it. it works on the inside of the car too. So if you take a picture, you take your cell phone and you put the app up to the dashboard, and the dashboard has an alert on it. You know what those alerts look like? I mean, they're little tiny, icons that you never know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
But this little app tells you need some more air in your left rear tire or whatever. And sometimes you might not need to take it into a dealer to do some of these little things, but you know it automatically. And it can also help you to learn about the car. I thought that was a fantastic deal.
Yeah, and again, it looks like it's using augmented reality. In other words, you're seeing an image on your smartphone from your smartphone's camera, and then the augmented portion overlays the image with the different labels.
Yes. And from what I could see from the demo, it worked very well. They're starting it off in their Sonatas, I think is their most popular model. And then it will be added to the Elantras and the other models as they go on in 2016. But he said that he thought that even 2015 cars were going to have this added to their app.
Wow.
So here's a company, a car company that's doing something that does, and some of that stuff is fantastic, as you know, but this is something that the everyday person can use to avoid frustration. And that brings me back full circle to where we started the show when I was saying that a lot of companies are actually thinking about the consumer now and trying to do things that make their lives easier.
Wow. Again, we talked a little bit about the refrigerator. I'm looking at another one that doesn't have a monitor on it, but this is you have an image of this.
This
I
was
think that was
the
LG.
LG signature line.
Mm-hmm. That's the one where you could knock on the door, and that's what I was trying to get the picture. When you knock on the door, you see what's inside, but there was so much going on the show floor that I couldn't get a good image of that.
Yeah,
I see.
I see in the reflection an image of you taking a picture.
Right.
And it looks like Ben standing right alongside of you.
I don't think it is, but we did not get to do the but there were so many things there that we could talk for days and days about.
Well, we've got another half an hour to do.
I got a few more things I want to tell you about.
Excellent, and but we're up against the break. Again, don't forget on Friday we're going to have our social media winner of the week. We start all that up again where we give away that Logitech Anywhere 2 MX wireless mouse about at $80. We're going to be giving that away to some lucky person. So just head over to computeramerica.com and get your entry in. It's really easy to do. It's all explained to do. It's all explained to you at the website. In the meantime, Sandy Berger continues on with us, a consumer electronics expert, our correspondent, talking about CES. We will be right back with her. Another News Test Bulls review coming up. Please stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to No Kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hey, just because he has a small knife and a small brain, it doesn't make him a micro neurosurgeon. Hi, Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, Yatra music muffs. They look like earmuffs, complete with fuzzy side cups and a fabric jacket around the top headband. But if you think that's all, you're just getting, warm. Connect them by cable to your smartphone for one of the nicest headphone listening experiences we've heard in a while. One more piece. The mid-cable dongle has a shuttle control and a mic, so now you can do phone calls without frosting your lobes. Bottom line, Yatra music muffs may look like warm, fuzzy earmuffs, but they sound like truly good quality earphones, so your ears can play it both warm and cool. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Whoops. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are good to go. All right, so yes, welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. Last half hour with Sandy this month, and this is going to be really the de facto CES coverage that we're going to do because, you know, like we said before, we're going to have a lot of these companies that I had the privilege to talk to out there. We're going to have them on for longer interviews about what they were showing, what they debuted, what the technology about is going on. But as we get further and further from CES this year, we're going to see a lot of these companies kind of either stop talking about what they were doing, or I'm going to forget completely, or blah blah blah. Just the further away CES gets, the less people care about it. So this is going to be a really, really good one because CES just happened less than a week ago. So and I think right before the break we ended off with augmented reality kind of shindig with Toyota was showing it off.
No, Hyundai.
Hyundai.
That's it. Hyundai. So and car companies were a lot of fun out there. But the funny thing is that I'm sure you noticed this too, Sandy, that the car companies that were out there, almost every single one of them utilized virtual reality. There we go, to kind of show, because obviously only a few companies actually had cars, concept cars out there that they were driving people around in, but set up a quote unquote demonstration of your car in the middle of a showroom, get a line of people and have them put on virtual reality headsets, and you could show them what you're trying to explain to them in real time. So virtual reality was everywhere.
That's true. It was, and there's going to be more and more uses for that as time goes on, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting just to I'm on the newsletter for Digital Trends. We have one of their editors as a correspondent to the Computer America Show, and the the headline on this one when he came back says they found he said, "I tried VR porn at a CES hotel suite and I'll never be the same."
I was invited to that too, but everyone shot me down. Like they said I shouldn't go. But yeah, they definitely had that out there, and they had. Don't worry, it wasn't sexist. They had some for men, some for women as well. But yeah, that was thrown by. Oh, I'm completely drawing a blank on. Body America. There we go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got an invite too. My husband said he was going to go, but I wouldn't let him.
Will Fulton was the
right.
columnist who wrote that article. So so there was all kinds. Even though the porn show wasn't there anymore. It used to be at the same time as CES. Now that's not that way anymore.
It used to be right next to CES.
I know.
So you could go in one door or the other.
Yeah, exactly. So, but obviously VR is going to have many uses. And there's just some of the things that are coming down the pike with it. Ben did finally get to try a virtual reality headset for the first time. Did you get a chance to do that, Sandy?
Yes, I did. The last 2 years, 3 years, they've had things like that. It tends to get me a little dizzy, but it's something that the kids are so used to.
I don't know, because Ben is got the cast
Yeah.
iron stomach, and he said it affected even him. He got
Oh, okay.
But I really do feel like the game that they were using to show it off, which was, I believe, Elite Dangerous, is the name of the title. That's like the de facto virtual reality game out there.
Mhm.
And again, it's kind of like a dogfight simulator where you're in some kind of spaceship, and then you're chasing a spaceship, and you have to look ahead of you, look behind you, kind of look around. You have to use your sensor, your radar and stuff like that to to chase the ship around in 3D space. And it got me a little disorientated. I think I hadn't eaten at that point. I'm not going to blame it solely on that. I was definitely feeling dizzy for the next 15 minutes, but I mean it didn't turn me off of virtual reality. That's what I'm trying to say.
It will keep getting better and better, and as you
Right.
know, a lot of these really big names have not quite been released yet, so they're, as we speak, still working on improving it.
Right. Though they did actually during the CES conference, not at the CES conference, but the big one, which is Oculus Rift, it was purchased by Facebook. They did release their pricing scheme.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, we're getting closer, no doubt about it.
and where Oculus Rift, they said that they were going to try to hit a price point of they said in the ballpark of 300 to 350.
It's probably about right.
Yeah. Well, the actual price point is about $600, and then you have to tack on tax as well. So it's going to be about $650.
Wow. Okay.
At least when it comes out initially, there's no question about it. And of course, the Oculus Rift is sort of like the top of the line version, because if you see the package that it comes in, I mean, it's beautifully packaged. There are a lot of additional accessories in there, along with the Oculus Rift itself, and so it's a premium. The way they're showing it, and they're going to be marketing it as a premium product.
Right. HTC also has one that looks like a premium product coming up shortly.
The HTC Vive, and that's actually the one that that was actually the first one I tried.
That's the one you tried. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you like? Other than the fact that you were loyal, how did you like it? How was the experience itself?
I of course wear glasses, and I opted to keep them on. So I will say that my experience was a little bit subpar because I couldn't tighten the straps as far as I wanted to without cracking my glasses. But I mean, just as far as the graphics and everything go, after playing for 10 minutes, one game in one scenario, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
it's got a lot going for it, and the applications, even other than gaming, are pretty phenomenal if you think about it. In the future, we might be able to choose a hotel room based on using virtual reality to stand in the middle of the room and look around. Does this room suit you? Yes. Okay. Fine. We'll book it. So there's going to be a lot of applications.
And
here, but not quite.
Right. I actually unplugged my camera, so I can't show you all the photos. But there was a company out there. I wish I could remember their name, but they had this. I'm going to call it an apparatus, but where essentially you strap yourself in to. It comes up about the waist. And it has a very, very slippery, I assume Teflon, like I didn't see any oil going onto it, but you strap in and you connect yourself up and you wear virtual reality, and they were showing off a game that was kind of capture flag, 1v1 shooting game, where you actually do the running yourself, where you run, you duck, you cover, you're running in one place. But how fast you run, where you run, how you turn, all that kind of stuff is sensed and transmitted to the game. So, not just virtual reality sitting in a chair holding a controller, but virtual reality running around and holding a fake controller type gun. They were showing that off, and they had live demonstrations. And
how accurate was that?
It looked pretty accurate. I mean, the game itself was a rough demo that they kind of slapped together. They weren't playing Halo on it. They were playing a self probably game made in house to show off. But I think my favorite part was they had two different sides to the booth. One side of the booth had two gamers who were obviously very well versed in just what they were doing, and in a PvP kind of sense. And it was a lot of fun watching them. But on the other side, they had a line of people about 50 deep. So obviously I wasn't going to wait around. But on one side, it was a middle-aged gentleman. He was getting strapped up and all ready to go. And then in the other one was, I'd say, about a 70-year-old Asian lady. And she was running around and shooting the gun and kind of ducking and running. And it was, she did admirably. And it was very nice to see that anyone of any age could you don't have to be like a 15-year-old kid who has lots of energy.
Did she walk for the company or
No. The other side was just for anyone who happened to hop in line. You can try it out for yourself, and she was doing it very, very well. Obviously her reflexes were a little. I'm saying I could probably take her. But,
I hope so.
but she looked like she was having fun, and I guess at the end of the day, that's a very important part. Was she looked like she was having fun in a very, very immersive VR experience.
Mm.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, that brings up one point that I didn't see at CES this year. There was not a large contingency of items related to older people, even though there were health-related items, that, as you get older, obviously you have more health problems. But in years past, I worked with AARP for years and years, and in years past at CES, there was a big contingency of products that they were bringing out for seniors. And it seems like finally the seniors have gotten old enough to actually incorporate some of this stuff, even though there were products that were, could be maybe said to be, there was not a huge contingency of them. I did see one product that was perfect for seniors and maybe for anybody else as well. It was called QKey, and it was a secure way to actually do mobile shopping using a key that you put into your device or on your device to actually bring up a web browser that was customized to the shopping areas that you want to shop at. And the key actually held your passwords and usernames and everything fully encoded, encrypted, and it had a really great interface and could make shopping, I think, secure shopping easier. Now, it hasn't come out yet. It was supposed to be out now. They've been delayed by a few months. Did you see that one, Ben?
Yeah, I actually got a nice little card. It's like, hey, stop by for a free product. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, why not? And, did the swap. And I just received an email, actually, this morning that I'm on their list. I'm going to get it when it comes out. But they aren't shipping until, I think they said, early Q2. Right. So, they're definitely going to be on the show, and I'm going to try the product out. But, yeah, it seemed like a very, very simple way. Like you didn't have to know about security and all that kind of stuff. I could probably give that to anyone, and they would figure it out very, very quickly.
Exactly. I mean, it was easy online shopping with its own interface. I like the idea that it was its own interface. Because they had pictures of the places you want to shop at, and you could add as many places as you wanted. I didn't, unfortunately, get a picture of that, but I liked that much, and I was sad that they hadn't come out with it yet, and yet glad that they're making it right before they do, because security is going to be very important on that one.
I meant to ask you this, Sandy. I just thought of it now, and I didn't ask Benny. By any chance, was there a company called Plastic out there at CES?
I didn't. I don't recall seeing it.
They're the
Plastik.
Yeah, Plastic. They're coming out with this credit card that has the.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
You did see them there?
I did not. I did not. I
see them,
didn't.
yeah. It's spelled actually PLASTC. No I in it. Plastic. And evidently, everything is going to be on this card. It's going to be the card actually changes on the e-ink display from Visa to Mastercard. It's got the EMV support. That's the little chip in it. It's got the magnetic stripe, barcode, everything display. I don't know if you've seen the website, but you ought to go to it. Again, it's plastc.com. I know we're going to try to get them on the show. They're coming out in April with this device. It's. I think if you have the Apple Wallet, maybe you have a little redundancy, but I'd still carry this with me because, it's got security on it. It locks up if you leave it and your smartphone walks away from it. It locks itself up. I mean, it's a really nice little card, and it has all these really well thought out features. It's rechargeable. Very cool. I thought maybe they might be at CES.
Did not see them there, but I'll look it up and see if they were. Samsung Pay was everywhere. I mean, there were huge signs everywhere. Use Samsung Pay. So that was a big thing.
And I'm starting to see Apple Pay now. I mean, when I went to McDonald's with it there, it was there for use. I mean, so of course having a 6S makes it a lot easier to use it too.
Oh, no, if there was a category that we could talk about today of the winner of CES that wasn't at CES, I gotta say, Lyft was a pretty big winner in my book, at least. Uber was pretty good, but Lyft definitely did a lot of advertising, and they gave anyone who was in Vegas for that week $50 free for 5 rides, $10, and you could get a Lyft anywhere around Vegas. And I had never really used Lyft before, or even Uber for that matter. But I gotta say, coming out of CES, I'm a fan because Vegas is it's pretty easy to walk around, but you don't want to walk everywhere. And Lyft made it really easy.
It's not easy to walk around. In Vegas, you see a hotel and this huge. Okay, here's the Wynn. Oh yeah, it's right there. I can walk there.
Yeah, and then 30 minutes later. Yeah.
Exactly. You get to the hotel, and 30 minutes later you get through the casino, and 30 minutes later you get to the place you're actually going. So I disagree with that one thing you said, that Vegas is easy to get along. But I do agree with you that Lyft was everywhere too.
Now, is Lyft going to be like Uber everywhere in the United States?
Lyft is like Uber.
Do you get a Lyft app? You get an app for it as well?
Exactly.
Is it competitively priced with Uber? How is it?
I haven't taken either of them, Ben, so you have to answer that.
The funny story is that Lyft, if you've ever seen the pink mustaches on cars, that's Lyft. Uber has the little U emblem in the windshield.
Right.
But a lot of the drivers, because they're contractors, they're not actual salaried employees or anything like that. A lot of the drivers, for one, work immediately for the other. Like they have both apps running at the exact same time, and if they're looking for a customer, they turn them both on, and the prices are almost 1-to-1, really.
Yeah. And my husband and I have been very lucky going to CES. We usually know just enough people to get Dell or somebody to give us a limo if we need it. So I'm a little spoiled there.
Oh man, nice, Sandy. See, she's riding in style, and you're hitting.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ben will
Lyft drivers are very entertaining. I mean,
sure.
Within the first 2 minutes of arriving in Vegas, Josh Boykin and I got a Lyft driver to pick us up, and we got an earful from the airport to the hotel about why Uber and Lyft are killing the taxi industry and how the taxi industry is coming back and blah blah blah. Like he lectured us about what Lyft is doing wrong, and I was like, see, if I got a limo driver, it would have been much quieter, but
that's true.
Not nearly as entertaining.
That's true. No doubt about it.
So
well,
is the consensus that Lyft and Uber are killing the taxi industry?
At least according to this one Uber driver, no, because like Uber and Lyft were actually only allowed in Vegas. I want to say in September of last year. Like Vegas fought and fought and fought and fought to keep Uber and Lyft out of there. But now that they finally did, it was a huge stickler for like even the bus drivers. Like I heard the bus drivers just bantering about how they can't wait for the cab industry to go under and for Lyft and Uber to be the only ones. It's a very hot topic among drivers around there. So if you bring it up, expect to get an earful.
I think that you can safely say it is changing the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's eliminating the industry. I mean, you heard for the past 5 years how Kindle and digital books was going to kill the newspaper industry. And that has not happened yet, but it has changed the industry. And I think we're going to see the same kind of changes taking place. Maybe eventually it will, totally take it over. Who knows? But in the short run, anyway, you're going to see a lot with digital books.
Yeah.
Maybe the incremental changing has less to do with the technology is getting better year over year.
Mm-hmm.
What isn't changing is that, let's face it, people live longer than a year. They
Yeah.
they're gonna have their habits and they're gonna have what they like and what they enjoy. They're people. So the technology may get better, but the people kind of stay the same.
Right. So, in other words, to go back to my book analogy, I still get the Wall Street Journal and I get the local newspaper. Now, I do write a column in the local newspaper, so that's why I get that. Not that it's not a good newspaper. But I enjoy the Wall Street Journal. And along with my subscription comes an app where I can read everything online. So when I go over to Vegas, I can read the Wall Street Journal online. But in my opinion, I still enjoy every morning looking at the paper. And that's exactly what Ben was saying, that people's habits have to change as well.
Yeah, I mean, some people just love the Sunday paper, and you got the comics, and you got this, and and the
Mm-hmm.
print of the paper, and just the feel of it, and then you get to younger, I'm not necessarily millennials or Gen X, who never held a newspaper, and they go, and then just being on their tablets or smartphones,
Right.
and they don't.
Yeah, and Sandy, I don't know if you had a chance to catch the Dish keynote.
I did not.
The Hopper.
Right.
So tell me about it.
Dish and the Hopper, they had a keynote like almost exactly after Samsung's,
Uh-huh.
and like, admittedly, the place was probably full and it was by reservation only.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh and I were like, we're interested, so we just kind of walked in, and so we got in there, and as far as Dish is concerned, they're very, very knowledgeable. Like they've done lots of surveys about cord cutters and cord nevers,
Right.
and those were their terms that they kind of put a label to, and it's very self-explanatory. People who have completely forgone getting cable, and people who are moving out of their parents' place, getting their first homes, and never even hooking up cable.
Right.
So they've been providing a couple of different alternatives, including like an essentials TV package that you can watch online, but it's also cable for like $30. I mean, they're really trying to drop the price point, saying that millennials definitely want to like, they may be okay with television, like they're familiar with it, but they're way past the point of being willing to pay $100 or even close to that for entertainment. That's just not what the next generation is brought up to know. So
Right.
like you mentioned their millennials and their habits. I feel like these tech industry, these tech companies, they're very aware of millennials, and they're really starting to change their focus from baby boomers to millennials. Like that's something I picked up on.
Yeah, without industry, as far as dish, cable, cord cutting, and all that, is one industry that has their finger on the pulse of it. They really know what's going on. They're trying desperately to adapt. Now you can get HBO without having a cable subscription.
Mm-hmm.
All these little changes that they're making with streaming TV and all that. So this is one industry that, we just talked about, the taxi cab industry. This is another industry that's rapidly changing, that we have to see where it's gonna all shake out, and it's going to be extremely interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all going to be there to see all of this, and as it
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully, barring unforeseen circumstances,
Right.
we should all be there to witness all of this. Again, of course.
Well, I mean, I'll just throw it out there. If I win the Powerball tonight, actually, right?
Yeah, tonight.
You'll go out and buy everything.
Yeah, you won't see me at all because I'll be on my island.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to buy an island?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And best of luck to all the Powerball players out there for tonight's drawing. I know we're.
Now wait a minute. I've got to get Ben to say he'll invite me to his island.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I could always use more servants. That sounds
Are you in trouble now, Ben?
We've got to mention the cable TV and all that. They do provide one of the important things, that's internet connection. Because even if you don't get the TV service, a lot of people do get their internet connections by cable services because they can deliver really, really fast speeds. Well, Sandy, we're pretty much out of time. Again, I know you're writing more articles for Hardware Secrets. You just got them up now, and you've got CompuKiss, which you're updating.
Yeah.
And
CompuKiss, within the next week, we'll have some really good stuff up there, so check that out.
Absolutely, and the other place that you write for, which is a new domain.net. Sandy and Berger writes for all those publications, the website publications. Sandy, listen, hey, I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'm glad I made it through the whole 2 hours.
Yeah, and you did.
Apologize for the cough.
There you go. Exactly. Stay with us to the end.
All right.
Sandy Berger here with us again. Will be with us next month, same time. And we'll be talking about more of the things. She'll have some time to play with a lot of the things that you got from this year's CES. We'll be able to give you more on that. Coming up tomorrow, we haven't done it in a while. We got lots of computer and technology news, and we're going to bring all of that to you. Brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We got 2 hours of computer and technology news. And again, that's all brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Thank you all so much for being here with us. And, you're going to be experiencing a lot of CES in the weeks to come and the months ahead. Lots of guests coming up from them. Again, thanks to all of you for being with us here. And Ben and I will see you same time, same place. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. You can say bye, Sandy.
Bye.
10 seconds.
Ah.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks everybody watching. Again, thank you, Sandy, so much. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next month.
All right.
All right.
Everybody have a good one.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye, everybody.